Hey guys, Dominic from Genuine Reels, and this Friday Logan opens up, and this is set to be the final portrayal of Wolverine by Hugh Jackman, although I think he's going to come back for Deadpool 2 or 3, we'll see. But this actually is the final portrayal for Patrick Stewart, Professor X, Charles Xavier. This is it. He has come out and said this, and we have to give him a round of applause for that because he's just done a fine job. But I thought it would be fun to go back and look at the 2 Wolverine movies, the 6 X-Men movies, and give you my ranking of worst to best of these films. So this is the worst to best of X-Men and Wolverine. Now let's jump right in. The worst X-Men or Wolverine movie is X-Men Origins Wolverine. Oh god, this movie's a convoluted mess. There's just so much wrong with this movie. It was exciting when we were hearing that there was going to be a Wolverine solo movie. It's something everybody wanted to see. But then we saw the story and what the hell was going on there. Gambit was done poorly. There was a couple of other crappy characters. One we all know, Deadpool, who was portrayed on film for the first time in the worst way possible with his mouth sewn shut. This is also where I think the timeline for X-Men began to get a little bit messy. But there are some good moments in here, particularly from Liev Schreiber, who plays Sabretooth. I wish we could have seen him come back, but it doesn't seem like it's in the cards. Next up is X-Men The Last Stand, the third in the original trilogy. Now this movie, I remember going to the theater with my friends and being so excited and then being let down hard. I mean, they killed Professor X, they killed Cyclops. The Phoenix Saga is sloppily done here, and Jean Grey is killed off as well. This movie just left a bad taste in my mouth. The coolest thing about it, I thought back then, was the visual effects they used to make Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen look younger, which has now become like a habit of Disney doing it with the Avengers. Watching this movie nowadays, it's not as bad as I remember, particularly because now I know the wrongs have been fixed by movies like Days of Future Past, and I could watch this now in the overall scheme of things and say, it's okay, it fits into the story, it's going to be fixed later on. Just don't give Brett Ratner another X-Men movie. Next is James Mangold's Wolverine. Now this movie isn't the strongest in the series, but I definitely like it. You know, leading up to it, I had high hopes for it, and I remember walking out of the theater and feeling pretty good about what I just saw. The third act in this movie seems to be a little weak, and the Silver Samurai isn't quite what I wanted to see. But we get a lot of good action, we get Wolverine chopping up people, and there's an unrated cut on Blu-ray, so that's cool. Next on the list is X-Men Apocalypse. Now, Bryan Singer once again returned to direct his baby, and this movie originally felt a little bit bland to me, and I think that's because Days of Future Past was just so good and so unexpected. But this movie definitely has cool elements. The biggest problem is that there is such repetitive things happening here, whether it's, you know, Eric and Charles's relationship and, you know, Mystique not really knowing who she is, plus Jennifer Lawrence's performance in this movie is a little bit on the shitty side. But there's definitely cool 80s vibes. There's another cool Quicksilver scene, so hey, this isn't so bad. And Oscar Isaac does a pretty good job as Apocalypse. I didn't love his makeup or his look, but hey, it can't be perfect. Next up is the original, the one that started it all, Bryan Singer's X-Men. This movie not only started the X-Men franchise, but this was the movie that really started the boom of comic book movies. Because before this, there was the random comic book movies like Superman and Batman that were spread out so heavily over the years. This is the one that was not tongue-in-cheek, it wasn't goofy, it had some humor, but overall it was serious. Also, you had respected actors like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen playing these characters, and a newcomer by the name of Hugh Jackman. Next up, X-Men First Class. I remember when this movie was coming out, I kind of just felt like, it's a cheesy reboot because the series went to shit. And I remember seeing those posters in the movie theater. Does anybody remember those crappy posters? They just looked poorly photoshopped and they didn't look enticing at all. But then I saw this movie and I was pretty much surprised, happily. I mean, Matthew Vaughn brought something new to this franchise, and of course he went on to do great movies like Kingsman and Kick-Ass. And you also had guys like Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy who took those roles that we knew and loved and brought something new and fresh to them. Wolverine being my favorite character, this movie basically has no Wolverine in it, and it's still one of the best X-Men movies. The number 2 on the list, X2, X-Men United. What could I say about this movie? This is in that time when the sequels to the comic book movies are actually better than the first one. This and movies like Spider-Man 2. This movie puts a lot of the focus on Wolverine. You see a lot more of his backstory. You also get introduced to characters like Nightcrawler. You get the classic scenes like, you want to shoot me? Shoot me! And you get the beginnings of the Phoenix Saga that we never really got. But overall, this is a movie that still holds up and a movie I still love to this day. And of course, the best X-Men movie, X-Men Days of Future Past. What is not to love about this movie? You know, 2 different timelines going. You got Patrick Stewart in there. You got James McAvoy both playing Professor X, a dual role. A Wolverine-centric story that involves time travel. What else could I say? Jennifer Lawrence giving a good performance as Mystique. And I love the struggle with Professor X in this one. Bryan Singer tried his best with this movie to fix the timeline. At the end of the day, he did a pretty good job. This set the bar for X-Men movies, and this will always be the movie that I measure X-Men movies to. So guys, tell me what you think of my list. What's your list? What's your favorite X-Men movie? Let me know in the comments below. Will you be checking out Logan this Friday? Of course you will. Who won't be seeing Logan? Now, I haven't read any reviews or watched any reviews. I'm trying to go in there as blind as possible. But from what I'm seeing, it's getting nothing but positive things, so I'm really excited. Let me know what you're hoping for with Logan, and if you're hoping that Hugh Jackman returns for Deadpool or not, let me know in the comments below. Check out the other videos, guys. Check out the sketches. And of course, if you like what you see, click the button right there and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.